Hey guys, welcome back to the Human Condition. This video is another video in our astrology series. This one is what does it mean to be a Leo Ascendant? A Leo Ascendant means your first house is in Leo. So this would be how you act and how people perceive you. So with Leo Ascendants, they're like the actors, they're charismatic, they're self-expressive. Probably one of the first or second most, probably the first most expressive sign in the zodiac. Leo. Other than Cancer would be like the second, I feel like, in my opinion. Cancer is emotionally expressive, whereas Leo's just expressive in general. So with the Leo Ascendant, these people are usually great actors, sometimes controversial. A lot of famous controversial people have Leo Ascendants, if I'm not mistaken. I talked about a couple ones, I think, in other videos before, but I feel like there are quite a few actors that are controversial with the Leo Ascendant. And that's because Leo Ascendants in general are also pretty controversial because of how expressive they are. Because it's confidence, ego, and potentially ego. So even though it's an awesome sign, these people can sometimes be too brash and too expressive, like express themselves a little too much, a little too far, which causes controversy. So that's their first house. They're seen as expressive, confident, and negatively sometimes maybe egocentric, but not always. The second house is in Virgo. Second house refers to love and money. So with the second house in Virgo, Leo ascendants, how they achieve their friendships and wealth is through Virgo is a sign of workforce and hard work and determination and just work ethic. So they achieve their money through which makes sense, obviously, but through their job. Kind of makes sense, kind of given. But love and money is in work ethic, not necessarily just their job, but how they have a really good work ethic. So that's how they achieve. And friendship is also seen through this. So maybe potentially, one common trait with Leo ascendants is that they're very business oriented. So most of their friend groups might come from their jobs. This suggests. The third house is in communication intellect. So this is what a Leo ascendant usually talks and thinks a lot about, their perspective, their mindset. The Leo ascendant, this is in Libra. So they're always talking and thinking about diplomacy, which is ironic because sometimes they're controversial, but their mind's always just trying to be diplomatic, usually. And their mind is they talk and think about their friendships. So usually the first thing is not thinking about themselves per se, but their friends. That's what they think about often. Their perspective is with their friendships and diplomacy, and that's what they talk and think about a lot about other people rather than themselves. The fourth house is relates to your past, home, and family. This talks about potentially how you got along with your family relationships and dynamics, but obviously other signs and other things in life can impact this as well. So with their fourth house is in Scorpio. Scorpio represents intimacy, death, and transformation. I know it sounds kind of intense, but that just means it means personal growth and it means change. So their family life potentially, suggests, not always, could be quite chaotic, especially childhood family life. So the transformation part could be they might persevere and become stronger, and when they get older might have their own family, really dedicate them to providing to make sure they have a really good family because of the past. Not growing up chaotically, they might prioritize the family a lot when they have their own family. The fifth house is relates to creative expression, ego, and how they express themselves. So with Leo, this is in Sagittarius. So this suggests that their confidence and how they express themselves is through knowledge and travel. So they might travel a lot, or when they do travel, they talk a lot about is themselves, where they went on their trips, and they're traveling a lot. And they also might talk about what they've learned. So they might be very fact-based individuals. They'll speak about their friendships, their traveling, and what they like, their knowledge. The very fact-oriented type of people. The sixth house, which is work ethic, job, and day-to-day life, opposite to the 12th house, which is dreams and desires. Like I said earlier, they're very business people. So this, their sixth house, their day-to-day life is in Capricorn, which is hard work, determination, different from Virgo, which is work ethic, and the job force, basically, Virgo, and communication. Capricorn's more like reputation, their discipline, their day-to-day life is in very job-oriented, like I was talking about earlier, like business, which is opposite the 12th house. 12th house is in in Cancer, which is past, home, and family, and 12th house represents your dreams and your hidden desires. Leo is obviously Cancer to maintain like a good family dynamic. They really just want to spend time with their family and build a strong family dynamic, usually with this placement. So that's their day-to-day life is in their job, but they really rather be at home with their family. 7th house is in friendship and one-on-one dynamics. With Leo, it's pretty interesting. It's opposite to Aquarius Ascendant, which their 7th house would be in Leo. This 7th house is in Aquarius. So with this placement, since their first house is in Leo, which is confidence, they attract people that might have a hard time with confidence, because they're seen as very confident, charismatic leaders. Like I talked about earlier, actors, leaders, comedians, expressive people. So they attract people that might not feel the most confident, potentially. So their one-on-one friendship is in Aquarius, which is humility, society-based, oriented people. So with this, actually a lot more humility than they usually present. Like talked about earlier, they might be very confident, but sometimes might seem a little egocentric. And in their actual one-on-one friendships, they can actually be very humble and very caring, but it's not seen as much because it's like within their one-on-one dynamic. And also, when they get to if they do get egocentric, not always, their friends humble them sometimes. Their one-on-one friendships humble them, potentially. Whereas Aquarius is the opposite. Aquariuses don't seem egocentric, so their one-on-one friendships build confidence, whereas Leo's one-on-one friendships might humble each other a little bit, but in a good way. 8th house is in sign of Scorpio, which is an intimacy, death, and transformation. With Leo, like I talked about in other videos, this is a really cool house, probably one of my favorite houses. It talks about how each sign has pros and cons, and this is where their weaknesses lie. So with Leo, it is in Pisces, which is self-sacrifice and self-isolation. Since their first house is in Leo, which is self-expression, ego, confidence, which is all good things, charisma, they might sometimes lack. They have empathy. They might sometimes be brutally blunt that they might not seem as empathetic sometimes. So where they have to learn and grow in life is they might have to learn a little bit more empathy, potentially, or not just that, self-sacrifice and self-isolation. They have to learn sometimes in life you have to give and not expect anything in return. That's what it is. That sounds better. Give and not expect anything in return. And this is linked with this house is linked with their 4th and 12th house. It's all those houses are all connected. 4th house might had struggled with chaotic with the family in the past and maybe in the future, but not quite as much as the past. The childhood dynamic. To strengthen this, they have to realize they have to develop their empathy and giving without expecting to receive. 12th house, strengthen family dynamics and family relationships. And once they learn this struggle that everyone has to learn this, they can strengthen the family dynamic as well. that they've been trying to do. Ninth house is in learning and traveling. This is in Aries. So knowledge and travel is in self. So they learn a lot through just being themselves because they naturally travel a lot, work, always traveling, always working, have a hard time staying, builds a strong family dynamic, but has a hard time staying with them because they're always working. So a lot of their knowledge comes from personal experience out and about, meeting new people, meeting new business clients, making money moves, making money moves. So that's how a lot of their knowledge comes to them. Also, they just travel a lot in general with their work as well. The 10th house is in Capricorn, the reputation. So with Leo Ascendant, their 10th house is a pretty good place. It's in Taurus, which is love and money. So the reputation, it might be seen as wealthy because they usually do acquire quite a bit of wealth because of their hard work and determination. So they're seen as wealthy, positively wealthy, friendly, also elitist. They might be seen as elitist and hard to reach as well. This also can show how there's the dynamic between, it's almost like they make friends and enemies very quickly, very quickly sometimes. So the reputation is in their friend group because they have a whole bunch of supporters usually and friends, but they also have a lot of people that might potentially feel different, like aggravated potentially. Their 11th house, society, how they view society and how society views them, and also what the role they play in society is usually seen here. So with this sign, it's in Gemini, which is communication, intellect. So they see society as a place where it's important to social network. They're always social networking. With the Gemini is social networking, and they see society as a place where everyone shares their opinions openly and are not afraid to share what they think and their mindset. People also, society sees them as someone who's very opinionated, someone who's social networking, and someone who's very outgoing and not afraid to share their mind. Also, maybe another reason why they potentially have controversy sometimes, but still awesome people. And then the 12th house is Pisces, their dreams and desires. Their dream, even though they have to, they want to strengthen their family and build a strong emotional bond with their family, which they can still do, obviously. It's a struggle, but it's possible. But it's tough. The dream is in that. However, the reality is that they're always traveling, working, and making new connections, social networking for work. That they can still do it, obviously, but it's a struggle because they feel like they're forced to always be working and traveling. So yeah, this is a Leo Ascendant. In conclusion, Leo's Ascendants are charismatic leaders who are awesome people, who are funny, comedians, charismatic, make a lot of friends because they're so expressive. Sometimes they can rub people the wrong way, making a lot of sort of enemies sometimes, but not always. They focus on the job. They make friends usually from work friends, a lot of work friends usually. They make wealth from their jobs, and they're very logical. They're a lot logistic. What they talk and think about a lot is diplomacy and friendships. They're friends. They might look out for the friends in the business world type of thing. They might have a chaotic be a little chaotic emotionally. Home life might have been chaotic potentially, but they work past this to make become more resilient and stronger as a person. They express travel often with people and what facts they've learned in life. Their realities in their job often. Their friendships are very humbling to them potentially, and they're very humbling to their friends. So if they attract very confident people, they might humble them, and vice versa, they might be humbled sometimes, but they learn and grow from these experiences. Their eighth house, their challenge is to learn to potentially be a little bit more empathetic. They might, even though they're already empathetic, and to give without expecting to receive. Um, they travel and learn new things, just being themselves, because that's what they're passionate about, is traveling and learning new things. Reputation is seen as wealthy and elite, but also friendly as well. Their place potentially in society is social networking and sharing their opinions, and they view society as a place where people share their opinions and social network, and people view the same about them. And their dream is just to build a strong, unified family. So yeah, this is what does it mean to be a Leo ascendant. I hope you guys like this video. As always, thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe if you want. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.